second only to drug and arms trafficking, and a lot of us think that will change because traffickers are very smart. They know that you can only sell drugs one time. You can sell a human being over and over and over again. Human trafficking makes about $32 billion a year, which is more than Starbucks, Nike, and Google combined. It is an extremely lucrative business. Traffickers are very good at what they do. There are over 800,000 people that get trafficked illegally across borders every year. There are 300,000 children demographically missing in America. It's huge, it's massive. They say there's about 20 to 30 million slaves in the world today, and that's more than any other time in history, including the height of the transatlantic slave trade. So I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I used to love reading about the Underground Railroad, and I used to think, if I had lived back then, I would have been hiding slaves, and I would have been helping to make a difference. And now there's actually more slavery than there was even then. There's more opportunity to make a difference, and with the world being so small, because of the internet and stuff, there's more opportunities for us to make a difference. It's not like somebody's going to knock on our door necessarily, but somebody might walk into the ER. Somebody might walk into a clinic. Somebody might walk into where you work, and they might not look like a victim necessarily unless you know what to look for. And that's why I'm here, so that after tonight you will know. But a lot of times when we think of trafficking, we think of people getting abducted. And I know with my children, it's like, okay, hang on to your kids at the mall, and you're going to be okay. But some statistics say that abductions are only about 1 to 3% of trafficking cases. And about 30% are victimized actually through families or people that they know. So you've got people selling their children to pay for their drug habit. People selling their cousins or their aunts or their, and if that is the case, that is the kind of thing that you might see in your setting, because things are going to happen to them and they're going to keep showing up for STDs. They're going to keep showing up for different things, which is why you are more likely to encounter a traffic victim than your average person in America. Because when a person gets trafficked, they want to keep them isolated, obviously, because if nobody knows they're there, they can't get rescued. I don't know if you remember a few years ago when they rescued those girls in Ohio that had been in some guy's basement for 10 years. And it's interesting because sometimes we think, well, what did they do, what caused this, what was, was it their fault? And the only thing that was similar about those 3 victims was that they all got in the car with a guy they didn't know. That was it. They weren't asking for it. They weren't dressed the wrong way. They weren't, selling themselves or anything. They just accepted a ride from somebody they shouldn't have accepted a ride from. And 10 years in the basement. And then when they got him out of the basement, people were saying, oh my goodness, I had no idea. But then the more they dug and the more they thought about it, it's like, oh, I did see these little signs here and there. And the problem is, most of us have probably all been in a situation where we saw something that's like, that's just not right. But what do we do about it? We don't know what to do, and so we're like, I hope they're okay. And you move on. And that's where awareness changes things, because now, people see something and they say, oh, this is a problem. I'm going to pursue this. I know what to do. For example, a stewardess on an airplane. The SuperBowl, I don't know if you know, but the SuperBowl is considered the largest human trafficking event of the year in America. Which I found really depressing. It's like, where's good, clean American fun and apple pie and all that? But they bring in an estimated up to 10,000 girls for these events. And it's not just the SuperBowl. It's anytime there's a big event where people are coming in from out of town. So you've got NASCAR. You've got, these conventions that people are coming to, because you get all these people away from their families. They're in a hotel. They've got money. They might be a little drunk. They're a little bored. And they can get on the internet and they can order a girl as easily as they order pizza. It happens. It happens in Hickory. It happens. Charlotte is the worst spot in all of North Carolina. So this is not far away. This isn't something that just happens in Thailand and Cambodia and things like that. This is happening here. But if they keep these people isolated, they keep them captive. But the problem is, you've got injuries. With human trafficking is a dangerous thing. The average life expectancy for a trafficked victim is 5 to 7 years if they are trafficked for the sex trade. Because you're going to have AIDS, you're going to have killings and murders, you're going to have disease. And so they say that up to about 30% of medical personnel are actually going to encounter trafficked victims because they've got to come to you. And unfortunately, back when there wasn't awareness, you patch them up, you send them off, and they have to go right back to their pimp or whoever and keep going until the next time they come in. But now with people knowing what to do, that changes things, and they're knowing what to look for, and they're knowing how to change it. So next we're going to talk about what are the signs we're actually supposed to look for. You know, how are you going to know if there's a traffic victim, and then what do you do if you do? So.